Today we're going to study the debt reduction analyzer. Debt reduction analyzer. When we enter the program for the first time, we're going to have this short wizard where we can enter our name. Let's put John Doe for the sake of the argument. The budget, this budget can be changed later. I'll show you where, but let's put something like 3,000. I'll put a little higher, so we have a little bit more of space to work. Obviously, this is have to be the real budget that you have available per month to pay your debts. Okay, the more debts you have, probably you should have. And you should have this budget increase, and you should be making more money, hopefully. The next step is to enter your debts. Okay, you can do that directly here in the actual area, but we're gonna do it in the simple area for now. So here we have the first one have been entered, but it's blank. Well, we're gonna put a few examples of potential type of debts that can be used in the system. So for example, I'm gonna put Sears, and I'm gonna invent a credit card number or debt ID, and this could be a store card as well as it could be a credit card maybe. The next pay date, well, obviously that depends on your statement. I'm gonna put a week from today. Special payment, I'm gonna explain that just a little bit later. And so here is the limit. So let's say that this car has 3,000 limit, and right now let's say that we have finance 1,500. So in other words, we owe them 1,500, and the APR, the percentage rate, and the annual percentage rate, let's say that is 22.5. If cash is financed, it will go here and it will have an APR. APR in any event should be entered if we know it, and we should know it in the statement. So in the future, if we enter any cash, it will be treated at this rate. Then we have other checkboxes here that we're gonna explain a little bit later. All right, and this is just a suggestion based on the 3%, but basically that means nothing. What it means is what is meaningful is your statement. So this one is just an approximation that could be correct with your minimum monthly payment, but this is not what we are interested in, but how much we will pay. To make an example extremely simple and actually trivial and probably not even useful, I'm going to consider that this is the only card that we have. Okay, and so I'm going I can put notes here, obviously. So I'm gonna click back to go to the actual area where we handle these debts, and I'm gonna click analyze for debt reduction. Okay, so I can recalculate without clearing the paid box, which is this one, or I can recalculate after clearing paid. So every month you can recalculate after clearing paid. So and that will do a new calculation for every debt. But you can do that at any time without changing this. So for example, if you add a new debt today, you can do it without changing the paid. You can add that calculation. You can add that debt. Okay, so here you can see the program paid 1,500. Essentially, yeah, has a lot of money, 5,000 in budget, right? We have it up here, and we have so the program suggested to pay 1,500, so that would be 0 after we pay it. That would be 0. And also you can notice that the find dues button is red. So it became red because we have 7 days here to the day that we need to pay it. So basically it's a warning, and if we click here, we will pretty much see a list of all the debts that are due to pay. In this case, even though it's going to be due in 7 days, well, but because we have 7 days here, is advising us. If we had more days, like 9, for example, then we won't be advised, because oh, sorry, we have less days because we don't want to be advised only, for example, when it's closer than 5 days. So if I put 9 days, obviously, yeah, I want to be advised 9 days before. If I put 5, I'm going to be advised 5 days before. So in this case, 5 days will be on the 2nd, Friday in this particular case. And then you see that we don't have any dues. Normally the default is 7 days, which is gives you plenty of time to pay your debt in your bank or in the website of the actual creditor. So let's try to put other debts, and I can click here to add or modify the current debt, and I can modify directly here. This is for novice. Once you know how to do it properly, you may click, you see in the tooltip, shift click to add the debt directly on screen. But then you know you don't have the same explanation. So for when you are starting, it's better that you click there. You have all your debts here, that you can go to any of them just by clicking on it, and then, well, check what you have. Notice that I will pay $1,500 in this case, and this is going to change pretty soon as we add more debts. All right. So I'm going to add another one, and in this case, I'm going to put capital 1. So I'm going to put what is potentially a credit card. I'm going to put the potential ID, the potential credit card number, and this is going to be a credit card as opposed to a store card. And the next pay, well, whatever, I'm going to put that is on the 10th. And the limit on this one, I'm going to put that is 4,000, and the credit finance, I'm going to put that is 1,000. And I'm gonna put 23.5, and I'm gonna put 25.5. These numbers are just, I'm inventing this right now. So, and I'm gonna put 0 in the cash too. Okay, so still we're not using this. So what we're gonna see right away in a second why we can start using this. Especially this one is incredibly important, but there are others too. So for example, now I'm gonna add another one. I'm gonna put Discover, and well, all credit cards have that, but Discover happens that I know for a fact that they give 18-month free interest when you open the credit card. So let's assume that you open a credit card with Discover, and this is obviously a credit card, and now you have 18 months, right? So the next pay date, let's say that is the 8th, right? And we have 18 months. So this is a special payment date. And why that is so special? Well, let's put here that we have, let's say, $8,000, okay? And the finance is actually I'm gonna do a transfer to other credit cards or something, or I use the money for a remodeling or to buy a car, whatever, and I'm gonna put 8,000. So that means that I use them all right? It could be less, it could be whatever, and I'm gonna put the APR at 0. Why is it 0? In reality, it doesn't matter, because the program is not gonna calculate the APR, but yes, is going to suggest payment based on the payment date. So, but I'm going to put 0 because it's going to clarify for us visually that this is a 0 interest rate. Could be even a low rate for a time. So it could be maybe 2% or whatever for a time. Not necessarily have to be 0, but 0 is a number that usually it is. You have some transfers fees in the range of 3%, whatever. And so in reality, this one, the credit finance probably would have been different, like 79.90 or something like that, but that doesn't matter for our example. What is important is this one. This one we want to be 18 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we choose here the date 8, because it's the other one. And the original debt amount is 8,000. This one doesn't matter that much either, but it's a good thing because you can see it. You see when you hover the mouse, you can see that it was 8,000 originally, and that there are 18 months left. Okay, so this is kind of important. So when you enter the credit finance here, or actually when you recalculate on the other side, you're gonna see very interesting things happening. So I'm gonna go back for a second. So we have 3 now, right? I'm gonna go back, and so here we're giving us this because we have 0, obviously because we haven't entered anything, and that's good. So I'm gonna recalculate. Very simple, just one click here in Analyze for debt reduction, and notice this in the other ones. Okay, so now in this one it's paying in full. Still we have plenty of money, so so it's paying in full. No big deal now. As a matter of fact, it would be you wouldn't need the program if you had these only 2 debts and that budget. But you're gonna see what happens when we have more debts. So, but this one is the one that we want to point out. Now we have 8,000 here, right? In the credit finance, and you see that this ignore box has been checked automatically by the system, implying or saying us that it's going to ignore the suggestion here. And so in other words, when you do a debt reduction, when you do a calculation here, it's not going to consider percentages or anything. What it's going to consider is the amount that the program tells you that in 18 months, by paying 444 and 45 cents, it will be paid. So that means that you will be paying this debt in 18 months, and it will be at zero interest over the period. So here we have 18 months, right, in the special by date, 18 months, 8,000. That means that we have 18 months left, and if we pay 445, it will be enough to pay for that. Obviously, we can have, for example, in this particular case, usually we will have two debts we discover, and I'm going to put 2 debts only for control. Really, in this moment in life, we wouldn't need it, but I'm going to put it as control, and I'm going to click discover. So it's the same thing here, but this one wouldn't have the special payment date, and this one, okay, this one doesn't matter really, so we're going to put 0, and this one I'm going to put in the APR, I'm going to put the real thing. So the real thing could be, I don't know, 24.5 maybe, and maybe I have 0 here, but still the limit, it will be 8,000 in principle, because obviously I'm dividing that. There are tools in the system to calculate that. I hope that you're not getting confused. So I'm going to put the real thing only for control purposes, and maybe because in the future we can, or we could actually pay something to the or use the credit card once we have paid the partial payment, and this won't confuse the system, so that will be okay, even though might not be the best thing to do if you can avoid it, but it will be possible to pay to use the credit card in the future, but that credit card wouldn't be at 0 interest, but would be to the current interest. The I will pay, doesn't matter that we have an amount here, I can delete it better, but it doesn't matter really, because it's going to be recalculated later. Okay, so we have this discovery. Now we're going to enter something that we all know. We're going to enter a utility. So we're gonna put a utility or maybe a phone, like your mobile, etc. So I'm gonna put Sprint, and this is something that you are going to pay in full. So I'm gonna put an account, and this is gonna be, well, it's utilities. Well, kind of these days. So anyway, I'm gonna put that the next payment is on the 5th, and the limit, well, the limit is gonna vary every month, but you can more or less put what is gonna be, and the credit finance usually is gonna be the same. Well, as a matter of fact, you don't have APR, but what you have is that you need to pay it in full. That's what you have. So if you mark it, you see automatically the program is going to enter the credit finance is going to, when you enter the credit finance and put paid in full, automatically is going to put the total to that number, and as well as the monthly payment, because that's what that is the minimum actually, and this is what you have to pay. So the three will coincide. That's when you pay in full. So if I put here 90, for example, right? Okay, so it's going to change to 90 everything automatically, because I have this thing paid in full. So if we go back here and we see that we can observe that we have this we have this $90 here, and we have the force or pay in full. I mean, you can consider that you are forced to pay or pay in full. Either one. This one is going to be red, and this one, you see, is a different tone of red, because it's something that is going to happen over time. This is something that is going to happen, and it's very important that you be aware that this is that you're going to pay it in full. Obviously, if you can change this amount. Let's say that that would be pretty bad actually, and probably your monthly budget would have to be changed. But if you put 50, like I will pay, that will be okay. And in that case, you could click ignore once. Okay, ignore once, because you're putting a number that is not right. Otherwise, the program will override this number with the minimum payment, because you have 90 here. But the reality is that most of the time you need to pay in full, right? Like water, electricity, etc. Another important thing, obviously, would be your mortgage or rent. Well, different things, obviously, but let's put a mortgage, and credit to mortgage ABC. Okay, so you have your account, and this type is a mortgage. It could be a loan, it could be insurance. Insurance would be obviously paid in full, because you need to pay your insurance in full. So by the way, now that I have this open, before I forget, you can see here, for example, PayPal, and you can put whatever here. You can add unlimited or use the ones that you have here. But PayPal, they have the bill pay that gives you 6 months of credit on debts larger than 99 or $90 or $99. So in any event, you can have many of these debts. That is called bill pay. So you can have many of these dates, and of course that will have different expiration dates and different amounts, obviously, but the program will consolidate, and maybe we will do an example of this a little bit later. I will try to do this as short as possible, but I think it is important that you know the things that are happening here. So I'm going to put this to be paid tomorrow, and you can see that, well, this one we will be late already, obviously, but also you can see that it puts this date in red. Okay, so the total amount here, well, it could be whatever. Right, let's say that is $500,000, and the credit finance, and well, could be maybe the full amount, or maybe it's less than that because you have paid something. Okay, so I'm gonna put this, and the APR gonna put 5%. Okay, and this one doesn't apply cash finance, because it's it's credit, so it's credit, and it tells you here based on that what it could be potentially, but this is based on a credit card, so it's not based on there is a mortgage. So this obviously most probably is not going to be true. This could be probably in the neighborhood of $5,000, more or less. And so I'm gonna go back for a second again, and even though I don't have to go back and forth, I can do everything here and try to show you the easiest way to see it. I'm gonna recalculate. Okay, so now your budget, you see now the 5,000 that looks so big is not that big anymore because we have this huge mortgage. That might not be true, but if that is true, then this budget you see is in red. Now we have more. We have to pay more money. Total I will pay is more than the budget. So well, if these numbers will be true, then we will need actually a bigger budget or go to a cheaper house. One of the two. So I'm going to put 8,000 and I'm going to recalculate, and now we are okay with that. All right. Okay, 8,000. Right. I selected all the debts and I click analyze. I have exactly because the program is trying to use the money to optimize your budget. This is the whole objective. I mean, debt reduction analyzer, what it does is to reduce your debt by paying on time, to improve your credit score, and also to pay faster because it's gonna optimize the amount of money that you have monthly, and it's gonna allocate that money in the best way possible to make you pay quickly. All right, so that's very important. For example, right now with these debts, if we calculate the savings, the program obviously is gonna pay the debts that are with a higher interest first, and then is gonna pay the other thing. So in this case, you see the difference between the two of them, and because the difference is not that much, that we don't have that much money. Well, it's not that tremendous the difference that we can have, but still, well, the still is a difference in this particular case of only 2 years, but it would be more pronounced if we had other numbers, okay, like bigger budget or lower debts. But anyway, that is what it was in real life. In comparison, because these debts are not too significant in comparison to this big debt that we have here of almost $500,000. So that's the reason why. And we have this one. Okay, but anyway, what I want to show you also, I'm going to do the PayPal example. That's going to be our last example before I show you a little bit more of the control panel, the main screen, and then that will be our training. So I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to put creditor bill pay, which is essentially bill pay, which is essentially PayPal. So I can have an account here, which is PayPal account, maybe my email, whatever. It really doesn't matter. But it's going to be the same account. Okay, so credit card number, I can even put, to be honest, anything. And I'm going to put PayPal. Okay, so I know. And next payment date, in this particular case, I'm gonna put day 9. But remember, we said that we're gonna have a 6 month, because I wanna prove you something. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm gonna put this, and let's say that this amount was $400 or 500, just to, so we can add easier. Well, and here the total, because that's what we purchased, is 500. So this one is credit finance 500, okay, and 0 interest, because it's going to be for 6 months. So you see, it puts a 0, puts a ignore advice automatically, and puts how much I have to pay. But this is what I want to do. I want to add another one, or with the different dates. Let's say that I purchased in a few days, or maybe even in the past. It doesn't matter really. I can put this one, so I duplicated it. So you see I have 2 here, and I'm going to put, like, this one was so that this is the next payday, but let's say that this one was due here, actually in the past. Okay, so in the past I'm gonna put this one, and I'm gonna put 1,000, but I'm gonna put this is in the past and count. I'm doing this in this way to make it easy for me to count up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I have this date 6 months free, right? And I'm gonna put 1,000, and I'm gonna put 1,000 here. Okay, this is the total, and I have, okay, so what I want to show you, and it has a different, I would pay, and obviously in this case I can put bought, oh my god, I don't know how to write bought. Great. Bought a TV. Okay, this bought a TV, and then in the other one purchased a CD player. Okay, so these are different things. I'm putting the notes only, obviously, for me to know later how did I use the different things. But what I want to prove here, well, we have the two debts separate here, so they're very easy to go to one or another, right? Any debt can be accessed with these, but here, once I recalculate, we can see, for example, that when we go to the well, this will pay only one is due. Hold on, let me see how we're gonna resolve what I want to show you actually. Okay, so I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna find, by clicking here, I'm gonna find all the bill pays that are the same, right? Is the same account, and I'm going to make this thing like this in order for me to, or this one, I'm gonna make it this one. You see that now this is black because this is already overdue, so this will be pretty bad. This should never happen, and this one is today. Okay, so that means that well, that they're black, so they go from red to yellow to black. So now we have these two, but what I want to show you is that when we go to the find dues here, you see these two are together, and I can pay them, knowing that the total of those two is 226, and they have different dates. Of course, usually the dates are going to be much different. Doesn't matter really. So the point is that the program will consider and the ones that are, because remember these dates actually is going to be the same, because your payment date with bill pay, I tried to do an example that might not be a real life compliant, so to speak, because it should be the same date. Actually, you have the same date. You can have different dates that you started it, but the pay date is gonna be different, obviously, because you have one payment date. It's like when you make charges against your credit card, where you made the charge on different dates, but the due date is just one day. Okay, so here you see it's the same day, obviously, and that's the way it should be. And then you can copy this amount to pay. All right, so now we're going to concentrate on that for a second, and we have two ways to pay. Well, different ways. You may pay by mail with your statement, but usually you pay either going to your bank or going to the creditor. So the creditor could be, you know, the real thing. I mean, if it is a mortgage ABC may have or not a website where you can pay, or otherwise you will need to pay it in your bank. Maybe you have it even automatically paid in your bank, in which case you will have it in the notes. You will have paid automatically in the bank, and then you will, when the time is right, you will mark the payment. That's it, as paid. Or this one, if you pay on the place, when you click here in the pay, we have it. Let me show you. Go back for a second. We have it here too, right? So we have here for, if I click here, bill pay, we have the bill pay. So this button here will allow you to enter the URL. Let's say that the URL here is PayPal, right? Because you're gonna pay in PayPal, and PayPal.com, and then your username is whatever. That is your username, so no one can guess it. And then you can set the password or not. I mean, if you, this program does not transmit any password or anything, but if you can save it here or not. But if you save it, when you click go and go to PayPal, by clicking go, then the username and password will be copied to your Windows clipboard, ready to be pasted with Ctrl-V. So you can see here your username and password will be placed in your Windows clipboard, so you can paste it anywhere using Ctrl-V. So that's very convenient. The same thing, so I don't need to click go, because it's going to go to PayPal either internally in the system to a browser or externally to your external browser, Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, for example. And then, or obviously you can choose to do it inside the program. It will open the browser. But I want to point out that you can also do that the same with your bank. So if you go to your bank, let's say that you bank your something here, so it's your username, right? And let's say that your bank is Wells Fargo, and let's say that that I'm gonna set the password, for example, and the password is gonna be 123. So I'm putting 123 just for the sake of the argument, and then I'm gonna click again. All right. So now in this case, I'm gonna kind of go to the bank, and I'm gonna say go. All right. Well, actually, to be honest, in this case, it didn't open internally. It went to my browser on the other hand, on the other monitor. So I'm gonna say that to you, that it will go to your browser. But I have two monitors. It went to the other monitors. So because to make this as short as possible, I'm not gonna show it to you. But it's the Wells Fargo. Essentially, is the Wells Fargo screen. That's what opened. Okay, so here what you would do in real life is you're gonna pay this in PayPal. Is either go to your PayPal or to your bank, whatever is the place that you pay to. Copy the amount. Use this amount to first go, obviously, because you're gonna have the passwords in your clipboard. First go, then copy the amount. In this case, would be this amount. Once this is paid, okay, is gonna you're gonna click Mark Payment, and it asks you all of them, which is the two, yeah, which usually this is the right answer. That's why you can click all, or current, that would be just one of them. Usually not the real thing, but obviously possible. Is asking. But so I put all, and immediately I have these two check, and it went to the bottom, so I can do the same with these things. So maybe this one I did automatically, was paid in the bank automatically. Well, then I will mark it. Simple as that. And then we have the next one, Sprint. Okay, copy amount, whatever, and now I pay it in Sprint, or I pay it in the bank. If I had the bank open, I might put already the payment for the future, even though this will be on the 5th, but I can put it to be paid, so it arrived. It arrives on the 5th. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, and I can say all for all of them, in spite that there is only one, because it's all means all the ones that belongs to one account. And then finally I can do this one. So I did all of them. Okay. And what we have here is all of these paid, and I have a log here that have been created, where, for example, in this case, you see how much it was paid for in particular. How much it was paid for this one was paid 83. For this one, it was paid 142. But the total, it was a 226. Okay, that is the total that it was paid. But you see, but the log divides the payment, and it lets you know when you paid, when it was due, who paid it, and essentially everything that you need to know in the future, and it will reduce that from the total. Now, when you receive your new statement, well, in Sears here, that we paid actually big amounts, right? I will pay. We paid $1,200 out of the $1,500 that we owed. These are numbers that are usually you're gonna see more variety and more. I try to put some examples more than. Some examples that would be meaningful to explain, but they don't reflect that much on these, because they're not real life. But in real life, you're going to have probably more variety and more utilities and more of everything, and it's going to be more interesting. Let's put it that way. Okay, this is a little bit boring in terms of using the program, because it's paying really too much. But this is to reveal that if I had a higher interest, the program will try to pay as much as possible here to reduce the debts that are with higher interest automatically. So the minimum can be $45. Still, I paid $1,200 in order to achieve that. And the total will be 8,000, right? Because I have 1,000 here. You see that this one, because it's 23% as opposed to 22.5, this one is going to be paid in this case in full. All right, but if I had a larger amount here, and this one will take precedence over this one, and maybe this one will be paid only. For example, let's say that I have here 2,500. Okay, 2,500 to pay, and here I'm gonna put 1,500 again. And I'm gonna recalculate. Obviously, you will do this once a month, not this way, but I'm gonna force it for our example. And in this case, you see, the program paid the minimum that before it was paying 1,200. Well, now it's paying the minimum that it can, because we have it here. This number comes from your statement, minimum payment. Okay, comes from your statement. But this one is paying the maximum possible that it can based on the budget. So it will pay totally. So it will use the money in full as much as it can, and based on. That's why they ignore here and everything, and based on the free offers, and I call them free because of zero interest offers. So anyway, it will consider everything and pay here, as you can see, 2,194, because this one has a higher interest than this one. On the other hand, we have here this one that still we owed 8,000, but you see it's only that I'm gonna pay 444 because it has the ignore. So actually this number doesn't change because I know that I need to pay it in 18 months at this rate. And if, for example, I have a need and I cannot fulfill this payment correctly, I can let's say that this month I will pay only 200 because I cannot do more. Well, I have to be at least 240, right? So let's say that I pay the minimum 240 to comply, but the next month, well, I put ignore here, but now this is only for this, actually will be ignore once, but then you see next month whatever comes into the statement is going to be this less 240. It's going to be divided automatically when I enter the amount here from the statement, and I put 7,000. Sorry, 760. Right? That will be the balance if I pay the 250. Then you see I will have a different number here, reflecting the reality of the days. Of course, it's going to be one month less, so this amount is going to be higher than the one that we had before, but it's going to be 1 month less. It's not going to be 18 months, it's going to be 17 months next month. So automatically everything will change as appropriate to give you the right numbers that you need to pay, and to optimize your budget, any amount of budget. Obviously, if you put less than you need, again, you need to adjust your way of living. You're living too high, but assuming that that these numbers coincide with your life, the program will optimize the money to make you pay and reduce the time of payment and control and know when you have to pay, when, how much, for everything. And you can do fines, you can do everything. Also, there is one extra here that you can click, and the program will will sort and will give you, see, for example, all of these in red. Those are the ones that you should pay first to improve your credit score and to reduce the amount from the amount that you have the relative to your limit. Like, for example, if you have more than 40%, you have is in red, okay, and otherwise it would be less than more than 25 would be in yellow, and less than 25 would be okay, would be green. So here we only have this one green, the rest is is red. But this is just to kind of analyze visually what you should pay to improve your score, your credit score. But this is the most important, to be honest. This is the one, really, this is the one that you want. This is the one that you want to control your payment, know when to pay, etc. Also, you have this one before, and this is going to be the end. I want to point out this button here, where you can omit the ones that have zero balance. So when you start doing more and more debts, you're going to have obviously debts that you have paid in full, and they will show up paid in full but by different color here. But also you can omit them by clicking here, and then we have only the ones that are due. Also, we have an agenda here. We're not going to enter into that. There are instructions, and this is a regular agenda that you can do put your meetings or even payments, but the payments are controlled automatically here, so actually you don't need to do that, but you could to visualize it maybe better, or maybe the way that you are used to do your control. And here we have a virtual calculator that is nice because you can put whatever you want, right? So 144 plus 5 divided by 2. And of course, remember, if you know your algebra, this 5 will be divided by 2 first and before adding. But if you want to do it the other way, you need to put parentheses. So okay, so then you see, you click outside 75, you can copy this number. Sometimes useful, you want to make calculations for one reason or another, and here you have a regular calculator and a regular auxiliary calendar in order just to see your calendar. So that's all for today. You have instructions here, and then you go back, right, and then you are at the center, and that's all. Then you close your program and enter every day, right? You enter every day. Nothing is due at this moment. You see, selecting all debts with future amounts due. So you see now the next time, now that you have data, you will enter directly here, but you can always go to your wizard area, and or once you become an expert, you can click with Shift and add, you see, the thing here. So you can put a Home Depot. Do this just in a second, and I'm gonna put a number. I'm gonna put a number and the type store card, and I can put some notes, whatever. Do I have a special, not special, etc. And I can put the amount, the credit financed. Okay, so I'm gonna put 555, and I'm gonna put my limit, not the minimum, sorry, the limit. Let's say it's 2,000 with that, and the percentage rate. Then I put 25%. Pretty high percentage rates on these credit cards. That's why it's so important that the program will pay for that. And when I analyze it again, this, some money is going to be applied here. It's going to be applied here. Sorry, I put this wrong. I meant to put 25% of percentage, and I put $25 in cash. So that's why this one was not paid actually. So be careful. Okay, so I'm going to put 25%, and now when I recalculate, I can see that this one took precedence. The Home Depot took precedence, and 555 was paid at the expense of Capital One that had 23, and now we're paying less on this one. But the beauty is that all these calculations that would be almost impossible to do or very time consuming are done automatically, maintaining the optimization of your budget monthly, right here, total that I will pay, total minimum. You see that I'm paying an extra, between quotes, of 2,500 of the minimum, but the minimum will be a disaster, because that means that I will pay my debts in 10 years, even smaller debts. So that would be horrible. So we don't want to do that. What we want is to use as much budget as possible, and maybe I put a mortgage that is too steep in comparison, because the person that will have this type of mortgage probably will have other type of debts. So it's not comparable. We'll have different type of budget, maybe more money, etc. Whatever. Point is that the full money is being used in its entirety, and you can be in control. You see at any moment how much money do you have, finance, etc. If you want to omit, for example, a debt, so you have your mortgage somehow, let me order by this. So if I have the mortgage here, I can omit this button to omit. There are many other buttons and icons that have functionality that you should explore, but we're not going to do that. But this omit, for example, you see I omitted that, and I didn't delete it. It just omitted for the second if I want to calculate, for example, how much I owed without the mortgage. Okay, so this could be the calculation. In this case, this is what I will pay. So you see 3,000, which coincide 3,000 plus the 5,000 that I'm doing in the mortgage is the 8,000. So you at any moment you can do a kind of a sub calculation just by omitting, and you have even ways to omit a full range. If I'm here and I want to omit everything down here, you see I can click at the top of the column right here and omit that, and I have a different number here. But when you want to the real thing, you click all. That's the real thing. That's how you know how much to pay. So thank you for listening, and until the next time.